Hello again, and welcome to Joe's Son of Boxing. You don't need me to tell you that one of the worst things about boxing, as much as we love the sport, are bad decisions, or inconsistent judging, highly questionable judging, incompetent judging. Something that you sort of look at and you think, well, how the hell did that person who was sitting ringside possibly arrive at that conclusion? And we've heard, many suggestions. I don't think this is a particularly complicated issue. I think so long as I've always said that, we don't need, like, for example, 5 judges, which is what Turki Alalshikh experimented with in the last year. And was it the rematch with Fury and Usyk? I just want to see competency, and I want to see stringent criteria for how to score a round. Now, that's not to say that, certain things should be looked at and certain things shouldn't, but I want to see consistency in the criteria. So if you favour someone who moves a lot and boxes and lands a lot of jabs off the back foot, then okay, that's fine, so long as you apply that criteria for every single round. You don't then move the goalposts from round to round to favour a different fighter. Or if you prefer someone who comes forward, lands more power punches, there are subjective ways of looking at this, because boxing, even though it's a cliche, boxing judging is subjective. But you then have to sort of talk about the 10-point must system. And I don't think in principle it's a bad thing. I think the problem is that people very often will just say, okay, 10-9, 10-9, 10-9, 10-9, chuck it around. And then if one guy wins, 2 minutes 59 seconds of one round, and then he gets floored in the last second, it's a 10-8 to the other guy. I'd like to see it used a bit more liberally, all right? But I read an article, not an article, it was a letter from a guy, I think his name was Roy Brooks. That was the author of the letter in Boxing News this week. And I liked the idea he came up with, which is it's not a new idea. I've heard of it before, but it sort of bears repeating. It sort of popped into my head. I thought, yeah, actually thinking about that is a really good idea. And that is that you have 3 judges, but you take the majority as the round won by fighter A or fighter B. So, for example, if all 3 judges vote for that fighter, fine. But if 2 vote for one fighter and the other one votes, so let's say two guys vote for fighter A, one votes for fighter B, therefore fighter A will get the round. And you have a sort of collective scorecard, if you know what I mean. So you've got 3 judges, but you collate the scores together, and of course this must allow for drawn rounds. I never give drawn rounds ever, but some judges do. But you can therefore get a consensus opinion on who won a round. And so at the end of the fight, it would be, 115, 113. All 3 judges arriving at that one conclusion, or 116, 112, or 118, 110, or whatever the hell it is. But you've taken all 3 judges' input and you've collated it to make one scorecard, which arrives at the winner. Now, I think that is something that's worth thinking about. Because if you think back to the Usyk-Fury rematch, Frank Warren was whining. Well, he's going to whine, because it's his fighter, and he's going to talk a lot of bollocks, because he's done that for the last half century. But it would stop. It would take out that. Do you remember after the fight when Frank was running around with the scorecard? Look at these scorecards. He wouldn't let go of it, would he? The little bit of paper with all the scorecards on. It would take that out of the equation. Now, if of course you still had a controversial decision or a disputed decision, I'm not even going to go and use that stupid word robbery, which gets so overused and is so abused. It's kind of like the word hate. Any kind of criticism is hate. I hate it when people misuse language and throw words around until we reach the point where they don't have any meaning. But if we had a controversial collective card, so let's say that it ended up 115 to 113 for fighter A and fighter B, and his supporters were saying, well, that's not fair. Yeah, okay, they collated all three judges' opinions, but it's still not fair. Well, nothing's infallible. Nothing's infallible. And then you could go to the individual cards and break them down and see where the judges agreed and where they didn't agree. And it would add a better explanation to how the 115, 113, just as an example, was arrived at. But it seems to me that's I'm not saying I'm really 100% sold on the idea, but we got to do something about all these dodgy decisions. Because in Britain, we still, for 6-rounders, 4-rounders, 6-rounders, even some, is it 10? No, not 10-rounders, 8-rounders, the sole arbiter is the referee. And that used to be right up to British title level. I never did like that, even when I was younger and it existed. I hated that. I always hated that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think of that idea? What do you think of it? Let me know what you think, because I'm curious about it. I think if we want to sort of experiment and try a few things out, that might be an interesting experiment to do. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your opinion is. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions as well. And tell me why you approve or disapprove of it, so that we can get a rounded perspective. We want all different opinions. All right, thank you for watching the video. As always, please, if you liked it, hit the like button. And also, if you're new to the channel, spread the word and hit the subscribe button, and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Subscribe, like, spread the word. It's your channel as much as mine. Always appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Bye for now.